Welcome to Valor and Virtue. I'm Jim Danielson. With us is Sergeant Major Raquel Painter, United States Marine Corps retired. And we'd like to begin by asking you, Sergeant Major, tell us a little bit about yourself and what led you to become a Marine.
Okay, well, I am from the Isanti Sioux and Winnebago tribes of Nebraska. I grew up in Sioux City, Iowa. And when I was in the second grade, you know how you got those career days? My classmate's father was in the Marine Corps, and he came into our classroom with his dress blues on, and the class just got quiet, and we're all watching him. It was just so intriguing and capturing. From that moment on, I said, that's what I want to be. I want that. I want that. When I walk in the room, everybody stops and is watching. So I watched the Marine Corps movies, read the books. And, you know, when you're younger, it's cute. You know, your dad's like, oh, yeah, she wants to be a Marine. But when it came time for me to sign up, that wasn't the case. So he's got 7 daughters total. I'm the only one who came into the military service. And it took the recruiters 3 times to come to my house before he would sign the papers because I was only 17. And at the time...
Did your father keep saying no?
Yeah, he kept saying no. He wouldn't sign it. He would not sign it. And then finally, my mother is the one who stepped in and had to raise her voice. I remember distinctly, she took him in the kitchen, said a few words to him, and then he came in and signed the papers.
Wow.
So it took my mom to step in and say, you know, basically, you're going to break your heart. Go ahead and do it. And then I served 26 and a half years in the Marine Corps, so it worked out well.
So the interest in becoming a Marine came upon you when you were
very young.
Second grade.
Very young.
And stayed with you right out through. I mean, did you like in your teen years to say, no, I think what I want?
I did change it. Yeah, so I did change it where I wanted to be a pediatrician. Oh. So I wanted to be a children's doctor. So that came up. And then when I mentioned that, that's what my dad grasped onto. He's like, oh, no, you need to be a doctor. And not so much the Marines, because obviously, you know, having 7 daughters, that probably wasn't the plan he had for any of us to do. So
yeah. Now, did you go to Parris Island?
I did.
So what did you think of that?
I did.
How hard? And what was your experience of it?
You know, my experience of boot camp was relatively easy. I thought I was in shape because that's what I pictured of. Oh my God, we're going to be running all the time. You know, I got to be in shape, but that wasn't the case at all. It was really the mental challenge that I think I wasn't prepared for when I went there. But the one thing I didn't like about Parris Island was those dang sand fleas. Oh, yeah. It tested my discipline to no other when I was down there.
Standing
at his tent, letting them bite on us. And oh my gosh, it just took everything you had not to swat those little things away. But yeah.
But it's interesting that you say, because a lot of people experience it this way. You say, well, the physical challenge of Parris Island was really a physical challenge, but it was that mental discipline. They're constantly boring in on you. And, you know, you say, well, I'm either going to get stronger or it's going to break.
Yes. And then that's what I felt, especially, you know, when they play the little games with you. Those are the ones I just wanted to stop and say, this is ridiculous. Why are we doing this? But, you know, you just had to go along with it. And I think that was the hardest part for me, was that portion of it.
Yeah, that's leading to kind of where we're going. But you said, did you think the drill instructors were funny?
I did. There was 2 of them that I thought were just hilarious on this stuff they would say, right. You know, when they're supposed to be mad and angry and just something out of the ordinary comes out and, you know, you're trying not to giggle. So it's all that mental discipline stuff where I wanted to bust out laughing. No. And I wanted to start laughing. So I just learned to laugh inside. Because as you can see, I'm always smiling. I always want to laugh. So that was very hard for me in boot camp. I didn't want to be the one pointed out because I was smiling all the time or I was laughing. But I did get in trouble. I did laugh at one part and I got in trouble. So I had to keep doing the wall over on the obstacle course. So I couldn't hold that laugh in. So I did get in trouble for laughing.
Were you laughing when you were jumping off?
No, I was laughing because, I don't want to say it because I don't want, but one of the drill instructors couldn't get over the wall.
Oh my.
Yeah. So I was like, what in the world? So then I was like, oh my gosh, you can't get over the wall. Then I didn't realize the heavy was behind me. The heavy is the one that obviously does the disciplining and stuff. But I didn't realize she was behind me. So that's all I did. I didn't even get to finish the course. I just did that the whole time. So I paid for that one. Yeah.
You say, well, it's obvious that we all basically have that one life that we live. And, you reach a certain age, and you're not there yet, but many of us are, where you can reflect back over your life and say, what has sort of been, if you will, the trajectory of my development? The question is, how would you say the Marine Corps helped you to develop as a person?
Oh my gosh. I think the Marine Corps helped me in many ways. I think the first one is bringing me out of my shell.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I was as assertive as I am now when I joined the Marine Corps. I don't know if it's because I was young or just never was in a position where I had to be. So it helped me in that aspect. And another part was when I was on recruiting duty. It really taught me those listening skills and how to read body language and how to communicate. So I think those two aspects really stand out to me the most in being in the Marine Corps.
That's interesting. I don't believe if we've talked to anybody so far who had been a recruiter, that never came up. But you're talking about being a recruiter, and sounds to me like what you're saying is that when you're interviewing people, when you're interacting with them, one of the things you're doing was kind of a vetting.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say, will this person be a good fit for the Marine Corps?
Mm-hmm. And really listening to what they're looking for. So if you're listening and they're mentioning something, whether it's discipline or, they just want to be stronger, then I kind of turn that into, well, this is what the Marine Corps can do. So I'm listening for those little clues so I can build on the conversation to bring them into what the Marine Corps is about.
That's interesting because, and these thought, everybody understands, right, that we have difficulties in our society right now. There's some odd things going on, and some people just seem to be desperate, unhappy, drifting without purpose, and that's what does the Marine Corps have to say to that? To those kinds of people, what lessons could the Marine Corps bring to our countrymen to improve their own?
Yeah. Well, I think just like anything, a person has to have a purpose. I think you have to have a purpose to keep going and moving forward. But the Marine Corps, what that does is really enhances that person's purpose. So you see a lot of people that join the Marine Corps, some join for education. So the Marine Corps helps them on that side, but they still got to do their part to make it obtainable. So the Marine Corps, for example, provides that tuition assistance. But if you're in the service and don't take advantage of it, then that's on you.
That's right.
So they provide those tools for people, but it's still up to that person to move forward with it. I think the Marine Corps does provide many tools for different people, depending on what they're looking for, whether they're looking for discipline, which is probably what I was looking for when I came in. That discipline aspect of it. Some people are looking to travel. I think the Marine Corps provides those resources for people to do that. But still, they got to have a purpose in their life and what they're looking to do.
That's right.
The Marine Corps can't make that up for them. The person has to find that within themselves. But the Marine Corps got the tools to get them to where they want to go.
That's a really interesting observation because here I think often enough that's really right. I mean, at some point you've got to either pull something out of yourself or build something into yourself. But then so you can sort of begin to supervise your own development.
Yes.
You mentioned that you retired after 26 and a half years because you found another calling.
Yes.
Would you like to talk?
Yes. So my last duty station, I was Sergeant Major at Wounded Warrior Battalion. So yes, I was so blessed to have that position to help and guide our wounded and injured Marines and sailors. But when I was working there at Wounded Warrior Battalion, I got to interact with faith-based organizations and nonprofits where before I knew they were out there, but I really didn't know what they did. But for them to come and provide the resources and help our service member, that was a calling for me. So I said, that's what I want to do. I want to do nonprofit work and help the community that I'm living in. So I retired early. I mentioned earlier I got harassed from my fellow Marines that, you can do that one more enlistment. But I had the calling right then and there. So I retired, went into nonprofit. I worked with Hope for the Warriors for a few years. So I was their community development manager there. And then the position opened up here for the United Way. So it's really what I wanted to do, just focus on the community, helping the residents here. So I applied, and here I am 5 years later, president of United Way here for Onslow County.
Excellent. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Very got a job very well. John, it seems that there isn't that good community here.
Yes, I love the community here. As a service member, you got the opportunity to go to, communities all over the world.
Sure.
And when I got here, and trust me, I fought coming to Camp Lejeune my whole career. I was 17 years in before I came here to Camp Lejeune. Because, you hear stories about, there's nothing there, it's very small. And so I was like, oh, gosh, no, I'm going to go everywhere else. But when I got here and you got to see how the community and the military works together, how it's actually just one large community, I was like, oh, my gosh, I love it here. My husband loves it here. My children loved it here. So we retired here.
Well, we're happy to have you here, Sergeant Major Raquel Painter.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.